Hello everybody! Welcome back to another video on Starspeed Universe, and welcome back to another Railway Series Custom Showcase. So, without further ado, let's get into my first engine. And of course, my first engine is my personal favourite character in all of the Railway Series and the TV series. It is Henry! So here is my Railway Series Henry. So, we will start off with the tender first, I suppose. Now this was made out of a Trackmaster Henry. That was, I think, the ones from 2012? That's the ones. Now if you do go to my main YouTube channel, Thomas Fan #1, I did actually do a review of this very same Henry, but obviously this is the same Henry, but very heavily modified. So let us start with his tender first. So as you can see, to make it more like a Black 5's tender, because Henry is based off the LMS Black 5 steam locomotive, I cut off the little bits on the end here, painted this bit black, although it does need to be slightly repainted in some areas. The lining was actually done with sticking pad notes things. I'm not really sure what they're called, but they're basically sticky notes. And I just Sharpied them red and cut them out and stuck them on with super glue, and they look really nice actually. The number 3 was just off Google Images. He has a back tail lamp and a vacuum pipe which was made out of twist wire from the packaging of Henry actually. The buffers were made grey by taking bits of cardboard and hole punching them out and gluing them on. The front coupling was greatly sort of smoshed into the tender because the tender coupling was far too long. I also shortened the tender coupling on Henry's main body as well. So, yeah. So, and that's pretty much most of what I did to the tender. I also did paint this bit at the front black, but again, that does need slight repaints in some areas. So, yeah, that really is the tender. So, let's move on to the main body. So this is the main body of Henry here. Now a lot has been done to this, a lot has been changed. So first, let's start with his top, which just comes off like that. I removed the screw, I never liked it. So basically what I did was, I originally cut off his wheel arches, because they stuck out really far on his running board. That's his motor, by the way, just in there. You just put the switch forward and it goes round. There we go. Anyway, so I did just cut those off. Used plastic card and regular card to sort of shape it and smooth it out. As you can see, that is part Sharpied green. I might actually paint it green because it looks alright, but it might need to be improved in the future. Then I took the wheel arches, which I salvaged, trimmed them down quite a lot and put them on again, and now they're a lot smaller, but they are still there. The back one was unfortunately unsalvageable, so I constructed this small sections here out of card, because as you can see, his back wheel here actually comes up through the running board, and that's what these parts basically cover. I do need to repaint some of his lining, obviously. I represented the little taps on the side of the smokebox by just a dab of yellow paint. The smokebox struts were made green by basically using paper and a Pritt stick. The face is off Google Images again. It is just Henry's face, and it is a very, very nice Henry face. It's probably my favourite one, actually. So another thing I did was I painted the tap on the other side, and I also painted his funnel gold, and it looks very nice. Although it's not really gold, it's more yellow. It looks yellow, well, you know, well, I mean, it looks slightly gold on camera. It's more yellow in real life, but it was gold paint. The side of Henry here, these little yellow parts are supposed to represent the builder's plates on the side of Henry, and of course he has 3D handrails, as you can see there, which were made out of paper clips, and they turned out very, very nice. So I also gave him a whistle on the top, which is just part of a gold chain that I glued in. That does need a bit of repainting around the edges. And again, the back was that was Sharpie actually, so that does need to be painted, not marked with a Sharpie this time. So yeah, and now another thing is the actual running board itself. So obviously I made I made the side rods red in some areas. Now I did have a bit of trouble with actually when I was modifying it to put in these nice front bogey wheels, which are from a Taken Place Henry tender. I unfortunately had to completely cut away at this part. I accidentally cut too much off that, and it completely came off, and the side rods started to fall out, because you know how it works. They're just sitting there and they move around like that. So that is just a little bit of plastic that is just on there, and it covers it up, and it looks quite nice. So yes, the front wheels are indeed from a Taken Place Henry. I also did trim down these sides of the running board, if it will focus, just like that. If it will focus. Terrible camera quality on this phone. Okay, I just got it to focus. So as you can see there and there, and those two little corners there, so I've got black paint on my hand, was where I actually trimmed down the running board to be more accurate to a black 5. The buffers are from an old Hornby 040, which I'll actually get it just now, and I turned this, I turned it into a scrap engine custom. So if you want to see a video about that, I'll do it in the future. The side rod keeps falling out though, because I did cut a little bit off. So yeah, there's that. It's a nice looking scrap engine. There's the back. So yeah, we'll just set that off to the side, just on the, yeah, there you go. Anyway, back to the running board. So yes, that is where the front buffers come from, because I never liked the originals and they look much nicer now. I also did a little bit of painting, although that might actually need repainting on his fake front coupling. I might give him a real front coupling, you know, just like Percy here, how he's got the actual hook coupling. So, yeah. And then, of course, I painted it a dark grey colour and detailed this small part at the front black. There are these 3 dots on here, and they are supposed to represent the lamp irons, if it will focus, which it probably won't. Hang on. There we go. You can just about see it there in the light. Yeah, there we go. Those 3 dots are supposed to represent lamp irons. I might give them extra ones in the future, but I don't know. Comment below if you'd like to see that. And we see at the back I did shorten the coupling with a bit of card after cutting it off and gluing it back together. So yeah, that is pretty much everything about what I've done to Henry. Let's move on to my next engine. So, my next custom is the big blue galloping sausage himself. It is Gordon. So, here is my Gordon. Now, he's made out of a play rail Gordon, and I'm very proud of him. So we'll do exactly what we did with Henry. We'll start with the tender first, which shouldn't take too long because there are not many modifications to Gordon's tender. Really, the main one is there is a vacuum pipe on the back, a back tail lamp, silver buffers, and then and the words or the lettering number 4 in terrible Sharpie on his back buffer beam, which is red. Very props to Playrail for painting that red. Not many do, because I know my Edward, which is a Trackmaster, they never paint the back buffer beams. He did have some weathering on the side where his tender lining is, but that kind of all rubbed off. You can still see a little bit of it right there. This part of the back was painted black, and this part on the front was also painted black, and that is the extent of modifications to Gordon's tender. I might give it handrails in the future, but that will be a difficult task, because yeah, I have to use this very tedious hand drill. So now we'll look at Gordon himself, which is a very nice model. So here is Gordon. Now, I've done a lot of modifications to this, so we'll start off at the back and move forwards. The back, again, this part does need to be repainted because same problem with Henry, it was Sharpie, not actual paint. Handrails, of course, on both sides. Some nice 3D handrails, which are very nice looking, I have to say. So there they are. Looking quite nice. And on the side, builder's plates. Again, I need to repaint his lining because it is rubbing off. Now, one of the main modifications is the Playrail Gordon doesn't come like this. It doesn't have this triangular part on the firebox. It's all squared off, very similar to Henry's. So basically what I did was take some card and a box cutter and a small sanding tool, cut it off and rebuild it basically. Moving on, the wheels were spoked because, as you can see, they are spoked, and of course this part, which was made out of a take and play Thomas wheel, which is his like back wheel here, and it is also on this side here. So yeah, the wheels were spoked. The running board was painted black, as we can see. I do need to give him a 2D face, so that way I can do something, you know, I have a more wide range of facial expressions with 2D faces compared to the 3D ones. That's why most of my engines have them. So obviously he has a lamp on the front, and back to the wheels. Obviously, yep, red side rods in some areas. Now the front, I cut off the original, same thing I did here, I cut off the fake wheel, and I gave him these. So as you can see, these are made of cardboard, and these are from a take and play Gordon tender. these front wheels here, and this is just made of carbon cylinder, which is a little bit wonky. I do need to re-glue that, I think. So the funnel was painted yellow, but I would like to repaint it with gold, and this little thing behind it is his safety valve. Obviously there are his whistles. This small part here was painted black, but also probably does need to be repainted because, as you can see, it is rubbing off. In fact, the whole cab needs to be repainted because, well, it just looks awful. So yeah. Front lamp, and obviously vacuum pipe, squared off buffers on the front, and the lettering number 4 that needs to be repainted on the front. A lot needs to be repainted with Gordon. His lining, his handrails, quite a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of modifications that I've done to Gordon. I might do more in the future, but for now I am happy, and this is my Gordon. I'm very happy with Gordon, actually. I'm very pleased with how he has turned out. So yes, let's move on to the next custom. So, my next custom is a very, very recognisable shed on wheels. And of course, that very recognisable shed on wheels is Toby. So here is Toby. Now, I do have another Toby, and again, I did showcase that on my main channel, which was literally made of cardboard. So, yeah, I bought an actual Toby, and I'm going to discuss all the mods I've done to him now. So we'll start off with his chassis. So if I do take his shell here and just pop it to the side, here is Toby's chassis. Now, of course, I have indeed heavily done modifications to the cow catchers, which were made of plasticard, and then blue paper was put over. I drew on the details for his cab steps, and then I weathered them because, you know, he works at a quarry, he's going to be a bit weathered. I added a front vacuum pipe in his front cow catcher, which I did paint black to be more accurate to the railway series. And at the back I also extended these parts down, and this part is red because when you do put on his shell, now it looks like he has a complete buffer beam. And he does indeed also have a back vacuum pipe, as you can see there. So let's put Toby back together, I guess, and talk about his shell. So his shell has actually got a lot of modifications done. In fact, I'll talk about it separately, it's much easier to. So we'll start off at the buffer beams, 3D buffers, which were actually from a troublesome truck, which have been heavily sanded to be very thin, and they break off very easily. So I have had to use extra bonding super glue with these, so they've stopped breaking off now. Of course, 3D handrails. Now, they look silver on camera, but they are actually gold, just like in the TV show and the railway series for Toby. He has builder's plates right here, and when I did buy Toby, his number 7 sticker had come off, so that is indeed a really a new number 7, which, again, for Google Images. He has an actual funnel and painted details as well. This part painted and that part painted. 2D face, because I never liked the 3D one, so yeah, I heavily sanded it down, all the facial features, and gave him a nice 2D face. And, well, that is actually pretty much it for Toby. So, yeah, that was Toby. So, the final engine you did see in the last video, but he is now very different from when you saw him then. And it is, of course, Thomas. Yet again, my favourite character. My favourite characters are Thomas and Henry. So, let's have a look at Thomas. Obviously, he's very Railway Series inspired, with a straight running board now, which was completely remade with card, and is actually the running board from the Stuart Reedpath Thomas. Yeah, I kind of scrapped that custom and used the running board for Thomas. And I am much more happy with how he looks now. So obviously it is painted grey and black coloured lamp irons, which are actually made out of paper clips. So yeah, vacuum pipe made out of a hairpin. Buffers, obviously from a Trackmaster 2 Thomas, and the front coupling again from a Trackmaster 2 Thomas. Wheel spoke to this pot painted red. You guys mostly already know about this because the running board did show up in the Stuart Reedpath, but the shell again isn't much different. However, I have of course extended out this part on the bunker, and of course he does have 3D handrails, which are very nice. Very nice. Blue cab door behind them, so there's that there, which was indeed is just a little bit of card. Safety valves, of course, and a very weathered top, because, you know, that's going to get all smoke and steam all over it. I do need to repaint his boiler stripes. They unfortunately do keep coming off, but once the clear coat paint that I've ordered arrives, I can repaint them and then spray it with a nice clear coat so they won't rub off. The funnel, again, the funnel's actually from the scrap engine. That funnel top is actually from this, so yeah. Obviously has a nice branch line train head coat, a very nice Season 5 Thomas face. Obviously these parts here were trimmed down and cut off, and of course new wheel arches here. And yeah, a little bit of weathering in some areas, of course, on the sides here. I would do, actually I did do a little bit on the tank, obviously on the top, and yeah, that is Thomas. I'm very pleased with how he has turned out. And so that does it for today's custom showcase, Railway Series custom showcase. I hope you all enjoyed. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment. Go check out our other videos. We have many comedy skits and short films, so please do go watch those. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.